must admit I don't actually watch that many sailing vlogs on YouTube, but one that I do watch is Simon Carter's, because I find it very interesting what he does going up the east coast of Australia, and his trailer sailors. Was a 20-foot one, now a 30-foot one. Plus he knows what he's doing, and I can learn some stuff from him. So the reason I'm giving him a bit of credit now is because he talked about the cost of boat ownership recently. And I thought, well, that's a good topic to talk about to people who watch my videos and are thinking about buying a McGregor or even any other trailer sailor, I guess. Basically, I'm going to talk about what it costs me to own this boat, break down my cost of ownership, and let you know whether I think it's worth it and why. Like the old salts will say, no mate, never break down the cost of boat ownership like to a weekly figure or something, especially when there could be women folk in earshot. Okay, you don't think about boats in that way. It just doesn't work like that. If you thought about them in that way, none of us would ever own a boat. And then you get the guys who say, boat, that's just an acronym for bankruptcy on a trailer, or bring out another 1,000, or what else have we got? We got Bank of America Tower, my personal favourite, bit of a twat. Yeah, but to those guys I say, look, just bugger off, armchair tossers. Yeah, so what I'm going to do here is exactly that, break down my costs of boat ownership, okay? And I've made a few notes here. Obviously the figures might be different for you if you live in America or the UK or Canada, which is probably actually cheaper, the cost of ownership over there. But anyway, the idea is still the same. Is it worth it? And one other thing I should probably say, for people thinking of buying a cruising boat for the first time, a trailer boat cruising boat, or any boat, a wise man once said to me, if you're going to buy a boat, always factor in another 10% of the purchase price on toys, presents that you will immediately need to buy for your new loved one. And I couldn't agree more, that is definitely the case, although probably a little bit on the conservative side in that 10% figure. But yeah, you'll definitely spend more money when you buy a boat, but just getting that out the way. But here is my breakdown of annual costs for the boat, okay? First of all, boat registration in Queensland for an 8-metre vessel, $334.70. Let's be frank, that's daylight robbery, really, for a boat that sits on the trailer most of its life and you maybe gets used 10 or 15 times a year or something like that. I mean, Queensland government, come on, it's just ridiculous, especially considering we've got the biggest number of boat registrations in Queensland, and you know, probably the worst services. Look, New South Wales has got much better. You go up a river down there and you just look at their free pontoons everywhere. It's often free electricity, water, whatever. You know, trailer registration for this boat in Queensland is $195. Insurance. I'm with QBE, and you have to break down the cost of everything with them. I have my hull insured for $20,000, the engine for $7,768, which is the maximum allowed, the trailer for $6,000, mast, spars and sails $5,000, total insured figure, it's close to 39,000, is it? Yeah, about 39,000. So that's costing me, and my American mates are going to probably be shaking their heads in disbelief here. Boat insurance here is expensive. That cost me $722.71 a year. Then we have the engine servicing costs. The E-Techs are good because you only need to service them every 3 years, and I went with that for the first few times. And then now the motor's a bit older, I'm getting it done about every 1.5 to 2 years, depending on how much I'm using the boat. And then factor in the XD100 two-stroke oil, which it uses very frugally. But all up, I'd guess about $300 a year, maybe, for the motor. That's my boat owning basics, $1,552 annually, which of course does not include running maintenance costs, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, now we bought our boat, and we bought our house near the water, and purposely we found a house that had rear access so that we could keep boats in the back garden. But some people don't have that luxury of being able to store the boat where they live, so then your ownership costs are going to go up, obviously. But there are options, and I've got a few prices here for well, the two main options. You could keep it at your friend's house, you could keep it in some storage place, but the two main ones I think are probably in a marina in the water, or to keep it on the trailer at a marina, mast up, which is handy because you don't have to anti-foul, and you can throw it in the water whatever you want without having to set it up, which is a pain. So that's good. Now I've got some prices here for current prices, July 2019 prices for the Gold Coast. Now these are annual prices I'm giving you, so if you paid 6 monthly or monthly, it would cost more, obviously. Runaway Bay Marina will do an 8-metre wet berth for $5,150. That's in their older berths there, with electricity costing you $10 per month and water $10 per month extra. They do have liveaboard facilities there too. I think it's about $150 a month extra, and you can live on your boat. To keep a boat mast up on the trailer, it's $485 a quarter. So $1,940 annually to keep your boat on its trailer. However, you have to put it in the water and take it out yourself. They only do boats up to 20 feet, but they could probably squeeze you in. If they can find a place to squeeze you in, I think they will for a bigger boat, but I'd say they'll charge you a bit more than that. Yeah, so you'll have to launch it yourself there too. Horizon Shores Marina is a bit cheaper and would be my pick. They will do a wet berth for $4,623 annually with free water and electricity. They will do mast up storage for your boat on its trailer for $3,147 annually with as many free launch and retrievals as you want. That's brilliant because you can ring them up anytime and say, put my boat in the water. I'll be there in an hour. You get there, your boat's in the water next to a pontoon, and you just drive it out and drive it back, and they put it back in its place for you. And that's wonderful because no anti-foul costs and less maintenance when it doesn't live in the water. So that's a good option. The very old Rudy Mars Marina next door, Rudy Mars Boatyard next door, does the same for about $3K. Yeah, I like that area. I think the good thing is that it gives you more options if you've only got a weekend to use the boat or something, which most of us have that have to work, and you know, that most of us that own trailer sailors are working people. That's why we own them, so we can trailer them to holiday places far away when we only have a week off or something. The good thing is with being based at Rudy Mars, if you live in southeast Queensland, it's halfway between the Gold Coast and it's halfway between sort of Southport, and it's halfway between Lower Moreton Bay, so Peel Islandish. So you can get to a lot more places if you've only got a weekend to plan your boat. If you keep your boat on the trailer at a marina on the Gold Coast, well, on a weekend you don't really have time to go out to Moreton Bay and then come back, because it takes you for like 4 or 5 hours to get there, you know. Well, if you haven't got kids maybe, but if you've got kids they want to stop all the time. It doesn't work like that. Now for maintenance costs. Firstly, I do boating on the cheap. I don't spend a great deal of money, so my figures are going to be, I spend less than the average guy. Most guys love spending money on their boats. I can understand that. I don't have a great deal of disposable income. My wife doesn't give me lots of boat dollars to play with, and my wife is in charge of the money. I'm cheap. I don't like spending money. I wasn't always like that. I used to blow all my money, but then I met my wife, and she taught me to be cheap, because trust me, they don't come much cheaper than my wife. So yeah, I don't spend a great deal of money on the boat, just the basics, some cleaning products. If I've got to fix something, I'll fix it. That's it. The trailer is probably where the most money I've spent comes in, on the trailer. You know, you can't help that. They go in salt water, it's not good for trailers. Even the aluminium ones are better, but there's still things on there that can't handle salt water. You know, I don't spend a lot of money on toys for the boat, which if you've seen the videos, you'll see the boat's very stock. It doesn't have much fancy gear on it or anything. It's pretty much mostly how I got it. So basically, you know, I figure that my maintenance costs generally I would spend, it mostly would come down to the trailer. If I average it out, I'll be looking at $1,000 a year. $1,000. So all up, that figure, then my annual cost of boat ownership is about $2,552 Australian, which is US $1,780. That's what it costs to have this boat sitting on its trailer ready to go at my house a year, just at $1,780 US, $2,552. Thinking about that figure on a weekly basis is where a spreadsheet jockey is going to come unstuck. And my wife is a spreadsheet jockey, by the way, so if you meet her or anything, probably don't mention this video, because normally I get her to check my videos, but this one she's not going to have to, you know, she doesn't need to see this one, okay? But anyway, if we break down that figure to a weekly figure, that $2,552, that becomes $49 a week. $49 a week just to have little Annie sitting there on the trailer in the backyard waiting to go. Then you could also think about depreciation. I don't think about that. And if you buy an older trailer sailor, you don't have to worry about depreciation anyway. Most of the time, for my $49 a week, she just sits there in her expensive shed, maybe has, like, the neighbour's cat sleeps over when I forget to close the hatch sometimes. Luckily, the cat hasn't marked its territory in there, but certainly spent a few nights in there. I don't know where it sleeps. Is it worth paying $49 for the neighbour's cat to sleep over? So do I think it's worth it though? Well, the simple answer is absolutely, definitely, $49 a week, it's worth it. 100% I think it's worth it. I mean, I think it's worth it. Even if you only went away in your boat for 1 week in a year, it would still be worth it. Because you think about it, your boat is your accommodation, it's your restaurant, if you've got a galley slave like my family has. It's your thing, it's your entertainment, your way of having fun. It becomes everything. Now, if you go and stay at, well, I'll give you an example. I went, years ago, I itemised a boat trip. I had the video on YouTube, but they pulled it down because it had some music in there or something they didn't like me having. I went to Tangalooma Resort, and that whole week cost $306. Now, that was including my box of beer, including all food, including all fuel, because we did about 90 nautical miles all up, and only one day did I get a bit of a sail in. There's also obviously the fuel costs. I haven't worked it out, to be honest, how much it costs to run this boat, but it's very economical compared to the average 26-foot boat, I can tell you that. I mean, if you look at the average 26-foot cruising boat, especially these ones that fly past with their twin 140s on them and whatnot, they cost a fortune to run. Most of the time we're cruising at 6 knots, is extremely economical. I don't know what it is, maybe a mile to a litre, I don't know. I'm not actually sure, I haven't worked it out. So that included all fuel, all food, a box of beer, and one meal at the cafe, which cost $72. That's our week at Tangalooma, and I think we went to a couple of other islands, spots. But now you think if you stayed in that resort for that week, you think about cost of staying on the cruise ship for a week, you think about the cost of chartering a yacht in the Whitsundays or the Bahamas for a week. How much is that going to cost you and your family to eat there and stay there? It's going to cost thousands and thousands. straight away, I've paid for you know, the boat ownership cost for that over the year is paid for. One holiday is paid for. And people will say, but yeah, but you don't, that's not the same. You don't, it's not as relaxing, you know. You can't, it's much more, when you go on holiday, you should be relaxing. You chill out and all that. Well, that's, yeah, you should be relaxing, but, you know, there's a different kind of relaxing, I would say. There's much more to going on a holiday, particularly with your family, I think. If you think about it, if you go to a resort, or if you go on a cruise ship, people say, oh, a cruise ship, that's the way, just go on a cruise ship. You get everything, you get fantastic meals, you get endless entertainment, you know. But if you go on a cruise ship, you're all going to be doing your own different interests, okay? My wife's going to be in the computer lounge doing a spreadsheet or something. I'm going to be in the bar, possibly once or twice, and my kids are going to be playing Space Invaders all day in the games room. And at the end of the day, we're going to meet up, maybe have dinner or somewhere. And what did you do today? Oh, I killed like 1,000 Space Invaders. Oh, I did an awesome spreadsheet. It's got all different colours in it and everything. They'll be like, oh, well, I had like 1 or 2 rummer cakes. And, you know, and that's not family bonding, is it really? That's not family bonding. When you're in a little space like this, a little boat, you can't help but bond, okay? And not just family bonding, but if you want to go out with your mates, you can't help but bond in a little space like this. It's the best kind of bonding. And entertainment, people say, oh, well, I saw an Elvis impersonator on the cruise ship. You don't see Elvis on your little boat, do you? Well, you know, there's different kinds of entertainment. One of my best experiences on this boat, I would think, was we were on the upper reaches of the Clarence River. My whole family were lying on the deck at night, and we're in the middle of nowhere, you know, and there was just about a zillion stars in the sky. And we're just lying down, looking up, laughing, having fun. And, you know, that sticks in me and my wife's mind now as being a fantastic fantastic night. And to me, that night, doing that out in the middle of nowhere and on that river is so much better than it would be if I saw an Elvis impersonator on a cruise ship with my family. You know, not there's anything wrong with Elvis or Elvis impersonators, but just, you know, I think it's the experience with your family, it's a lot tighter and closer on a little boat. So now that one holiday a year, yeah, it's I think that pays for it, and everything else on top of that one holiday a year is just cream. If you go out for day trips on your boat, if you go out for a few overnight or weekend trips, if you do 2 or 3 1 week or 2 week holidays a year in your boat, well, it's easily paid for. It is. It's easily paid for. Don't think about it as $49 a week. Just look, if you must, look at the overall costs, but I wouldn't even do that. $2.5 grand a year, and we go on like a few holidays a year, at least, you know, another 5 or 6 overnight trips, and you know, the odd day trip or whatever. But of course, it's worth it. If you like being on the water, if you like, well, think of it. In my local area, I can go to places here, right where I am now. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and people that don't have a boat can't go here. I can go to Jumping Pin, you know. That's one of the best places on the Gold Coast, but most Gold Coasters never even heard of it. They wouldn't know where it is, you know. So in summary, for my $2.5 grand a year, I get to captain my own boat. I get fantastic family bonding experiences, better than what I'm going to get on a cruise ship or a resort. I get, you know, family holidays. I get day trips in the boat, I get overnight trips. What else do I get? I get to hitch my boat up behind the car anytime I like and do a road trip. Use it as a caravan or an RV on the side of the road or in a caravan park if I want. I can have holidays on the land or on the water. I get health and fitness out of it. I get adventure, I get challenges. You know, there's things you got to fix, and that's all part of the fun. Actually tinkering with the boat, playing with things, fixing things, is all part of the fun of boat ownership. I can go snorkeling, I can go diving, or, you know, I can go fishing. I'm not a big fisherman myself, but for people that are, well, that easily covers the cost of boat ownership, doesn't it? My neighbour gave us some some snapper the other day, about 1.5 kilos of snapper that he caught out here somewhere, and you know, we had that for dinner. It was beautiful, and that cost in the supermarket, that would be worth about 40 or 50 bucks. You know, so if you're into fishing, it easily covers the cost of boat ownership, doesn't it? I can have sundowners with my wife and see amazing sunsets. You know, in an emergency, I've even got a second home. I can plonk this down in the water anywhere and just live on it for free. Or I can put it in a caravan park. If my house catches fire and burns down, it's a bit of emergency shelter. I can put it in a caravan park and live in it. And it's reasonably comfortable, this boat, you know. It's a bit of a squeeze for 4. For 2, it'd be fine. Most of all, I get to spend quality time with my family in the environment that I love. So for $2.5 grand a year, are you kidding? That's absolutely worth it. If you like being out on the water, it's absolutely worth it. Of course, it's not for everyone. You know, that's if you don't like cramped spaces, you're probably not going to like it too much. We're not huge on cramped spaces. We had an 18-foot trailer sailor and it wasn't working out for us. I know some people are absolutely happy with them, like some great 18-foot trailer sailors and everything, but for us it just wasn't enough room. No. We wanted a separate head, and we wanted, you know, full standing headroom. Well, it's not total full standing headroom. As you go further back, you got to duck a little bit, but it's pretty good headroom in here. And I remember like not long after we'd had the boat, one of the resident Mac bashers on one of the Australian trailer sailor forums saying, he said, I just say, those McGregors are nothing more than just a caravan with a stick and rag on top. And I thought to myself, well, that's just absolutely perfect. I got it right this time, because, you know, on my list of things that I wanted a boat to do, which was pretty big on the list, the heading of it was caravan with stick and rag on top. That's the main priority. That's what I wanted, a caravan with a stick and rag. And, well, 9 years later, almost 10 years later, still got my caravan with a stick and rag on top. Still love it. I wonder if that bloke I wonder how many boats he's been through since then. Or I wonder if he's still got a boat. You know, sometimes you have some horrible days out there. Of course you do, some horrible trips. Some days you're stuck inside the cabin, the weather's horrible. Sometimes the sea is rough out there and it's not fun. You can't find an anchorage that's not sheltered, and you'll be rocking all night in your anchorage with halyards slapping on your mast, and you know, some nights are not great in the boat. But I know that for every sort of really bad day, there's going to be 10 fantastic days. So, you know, it's not going to be for everyone, for sure, but it certainly is for us. It certainly is for me. And personally, I don't think I'm ever going to be without at least some sort of boat, because it's just so nice being on the water. I mean, it's just beautiful out here. Look at this. Look at this day out here. How could you not like being out here? It's just magnificent. Absolutely beautiful. Just so peaceful. It's peaceful and absolutely beautiful. There's a decent drop off right there. It's about 4 metres, I think, where the boat is right now. They need to find these pigs and just not let them out here. They shouldn't be out here.